Evening, everyone. I call this meeting of the Community Preservation Committee to order November 6, 2025 at 6:31 p.m. This meeting is being recorded. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Great. Okay. So we will take roll. Sort of go down the line. I'll start. Brian Payne, I'm the chair and citizen.
I'm Suzanne Haggerty, and I am a representative from the Recreation Board.
Alexander Graham, representative of the Planning Board.
Linda Ragasta, representative of the Historical Commission.
One online. Okay, 4 of the 6 members are here, so quorum is established. You guys all have the agenda in front of you. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay. But as a matter of discussion, when we go to review and vote on project assessments, I have an order that I kind of scratched out to look at them, to group them. So we'll start with affordable housing. We'll then move to those that relate to historic, which would be the Adams Building, the Heritage House, and the 3 from the old burying ground. Then we'll do the recreation and then the conservation, a few proposals from conservation. That seemed to make sense to me. Does that work for everybody?
Mhm.
Any other comments, or someone really need to leave like right away and want to be bumped up? It shouldn't take too long to get through this. Okay. So we have a motion, a second, to approve the agenda as amended with the order. So we'll have to do a roll vote, right?
No.
Oh, because it's online.
No, if someone's online.
All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion passes. Okay, great. We have someone from affordable housing here.
Yes, I'm here.
Great, why don't you lead us off and just tell us about the, pretty standard for you guys, but just run through the motions.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
If you could just go over what it is you're asking for. I know you do it every year, so it's pretty standard, but just for the records, you could describe what you're asking for and how the funds will be used.
Okay, the Affordable Housing Trust was created back in 2016, 2017. The only funding source we have had to date is the CPC funding. Over the years, we've accumulated funds. It's slightly under $1 million. If any of you have tried to look at the real estate market lately, you realize there's not much you can build for $1 million if you have to buy land and build a house. We have tried to work with the town treasurer to make sure it's invested in a way that builds the funds as much as possible within the restrictions of the law. And the reason that the Affordable Housing Trust was created is because it is a funding mechanism that can act very quickly should an opportunity come up. As you know from your own procedures, you have to go through this process of submitting this particular form, then you have to submit the entire application, then it has to be voted on by your committee, then it goes to town meeting to be approved, and the funds are finally available the following July 1st. That takes way too long for any particular type of housing opportunity that would come up. By that time, the opportunity would be long gone. We do not currently have any housing proposals in front of us. We did previously. The water moratorium pretty much ended those proposals. We have yet to see those developers come back in front of us. I can only assume that they moved on to other developments, and that's what they're working on right now. There were 3 or 4 viable opportunities, and we're hoping that some of those will come back in front of us. In the meantime, we have spent a little bit of the funds to help provide funding for the housing production plan, which is required to be updated every 5 years. We have been working with the town planner and she has obtained a grant. We provided some funds, and we're in the process of updating that. She hired someone to take care of that. We have met with that individual, and we're just waiting for the draft to come through. So that's really our only expenditure this past year. As I say, the water moratorium was a huge issue. What I am hearing from the planning department and the building inspectors department is that there's a huge interest in the ADUs, which most homeowners are not going to put a restriction on, which means that they cannot be counted in the affordable housing inventory. So each year we come to you looking for the funding so that should an opportunity come up, we would have the flexibility to move right away. So I would appreciate a yes vote to move this along, and be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. I apologize, Jean. I was supposed to ask you to state your full name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jean Landis Nauman, and I'm the chairman of the Affordable
Thanks.
Housing Trust.
Thank you. I'm not gonna make you restate everything, so we're okay. So it's pretty common for CPCs to transfer the allotted housing fund into a trust. Jean, do you know if you've used a grant agreement before with CPC funds?
If we've received funds from CPC
No, that there's a grant agreement document signed between the CPC. I think there's one like on file already.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. So the purpose of today's meeting is just to assess whether or not the projects qualify for CPC funding, not whether or not we approve it. So I think this one's pretty well straightforward. It qualifies for CPC funding to move forward to the next step, but open the floor to comments from the committee members. Okay, hearing any comments from the public? Entertain a motion to approve the initial application and to move it forward.
I'll make a motion to approve the initial application for Kingston Affordable Housing Trust as presented.
Second? Second. Further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Jean.
Thank you.
Move on to those related to historic, and we'll take up the Adams Building application first. Hey, to state your name for the record and your title or position in relation.
My name is Rob Cuoco, I'm facilities manager for the town of Kingston. And thank you for entertaining my application.
I wonder you had the key.
Yeah.
We Joel and I were coming down to.
So, and I appreciate, so I added a little piece to this puzzle to bump it up a little bit, but basically the Adams Building being something that the town's worked on, and a historical building requires some special attention. And so the front of that building, there's some safety issues with the columns starting to fail. There's also, in doing due diligence and discovery, some it looks like repairs that were done probably before it got put into the historical building, where the front, they used the mastic to try to stop some leaking in the front portico of the building, and that mastic is failing. And so at some point water will get behind it. Plaster or whatever parging they used, I think it's probably some kind of concrete, but I haven't been able to discover that quite yet. It's starting to deteriorate as well. So it needs to be painted. That mastic needs to come off. It needs to be painted. It needs to be repaired, and the columns need to be repaired. This also relates to things like the front door, which has a giant, one giant crack and another one forming, which is structurally, unsound for the front door. The boards above where the peak is are starting to open up and crack. So it needs a little TLC over there. Obviously, this is an ongoing thing, but there's, the mechanisms for me to do these bigger repairs to that building are somewhat limited. And CPC is absolutely one of them, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done before to make that building look the way it does, because it looks beautiful. And I know that, just between historic and CPC, you guys had a big piece of that puzzle. But that's where we stand right now. So whether it's a whole or in part, there's an immediate need. And that's kind of what we're looking for.
The first step to determining eligibility for historic properties is to confirm that it's so designated as a historical property. The CPC allows this to happen in one of two ways. One is on the Massachusetts Historical Registry, or two, it is so designated by a local historical commission. And can you confirm that it meets one or both
I
of
believe
those?
it means both.
Okay. When your full application has to be clearly articulated how that is. So if you have a registry number, put that in. If it's not on the Massachusetts registry, then you just need a letter from the historical commission that's so designated as a local historical property, and it's fine.
Okay.
The next step in determining eligibility is whether it qualifies as acquisition, restoration, or what's the other verb? Preservation, I think. So this to me falls into a restoration
And preservation.
category. There's a couple key words we have to see in the final application to make sure that it adheres to the CPC regulation. Generally speaking, the CPC rules tend to favor acquisition, preservation, restoration, rehabilitation of property that adds significant community value. So we want to see things like community value.
Okay.
It can't be spent on anything that could be determined regular maintenance. So you'd have to explain how this is not part of regular maintenance, which I don't think it would be,
No.
but you just have to be very clear in the application how it is. So things like capital improvement, like that term would be important to see in the application. Long-term sustainable investment. So it's not something you're going to have to do again in 5 years, something like that. It has to have the structure in this case has to have a public purpose. The key phrase that we need to see used in the application process. So, including information on when it's open to the public, the hours of operation, the public events that happen there, all that kind of stuff can point to evidence that it has a public purpose.
Okay.
It should not be a problem at all. The other key point that we have to see in specifically historical rehabilitation, restoration, preservation is that it meets the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation. It's Secretary of Interior standards of rehabilitation. So it's the U.S. Federal Secretary of Interior, Department of Interior. You can get those standards from the Community Preservation website, communitypreservation.org. It's a one-page document. I know when you think like, oh, this is a government document, it's gonna be 500 pages long. It's a one-page document with 10 standards on it.
Okay.
And they're pretty basic. You're not doing anything that fundamentally changes the structure. In this particular case, we want to see, you did a good job here explaining like what the materials would be, but we'd want to see pretty specific language that shows that you're maintaining the historical value. So how is, I don't know if this is true, but if the original pillars were rough cut timber, you'd have to make sure you were replacing them with rough cut timber, and it wouldn't look like just a couple 2x4s up there. So you'd want to explain that in the final application, everything down to like matching the paint so that the paint carries over continues that facade look. Anything that can be seen outwardly by the public needs to maintain that historical feel to it. So those 10 guidelines, if you go to the Community Preservation Coalition's website, which is communitypreservation.org, you can link, there's a link there. There's also a really nice little, I think it calls it like an image example where they have photographs of how this has been done right, how it's been done wrong. The other issue is how do we as a committee determine that those rules have been met? So in your application, you'd want to articulate the qualifications of the individual who's going to be doing the work, not just that they're a qualified carpenter, but they're qualified to do historical restoration work. We don't need like a special license or anything, but if they do, that's even better. But if they have like enough experience having done this over the years, whatever knowledge or criteria you can present that the individual has to be a named individual. That this person's going to be responsible for it. This person knows the Secretary of Interior's guidelines. This is how we're actually specifically going to be doing the work. The more detail you can provide to prove that you're going to adhere to these guidelines, the better the application.
Maybe present some projects that were done previously
Yeah.
as well that fit the bill.
So the good news is that, I've done a bunch of that already. I have 3 restorers. We know what those columns with barrels saved out, they'll be replaced with the same kind of, and I have references. So a lot of this is great because we've already kind of pre-done some of it, but there's some holes that this will help me fill, if you guys decide to go forward with this tonight.
Yeah.
And we'll have pictures and you guys can, obviously, if this does go forward, we'll have you guys on site.
Yeah, that would be
Watch
great.
How it happens.
Yeah, and documenting the process.
Yeah.
Is really important. So, if your application can include photographs of the current state, but also the previous state that you're looking to restore to. I don't know if you have historical imagery or not, but if not, it's okay. If you have it, all the better.
Okay.
But if you have an individual that you can point to, that this person, and this is their experience, this is their licensing, whatever it might be, to me, that's the gold standard.
Okay.
And then we can move forward. It's just we're responsible for assuring that the work is done in accordance with these standards. Those are my only observations with this application. And anyone else in the committee have anything that they want to point to? Any comments from the public? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to either accept or not accept the proposal to move forward.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the project for the columns and facade work of the Adams Building submitted by Kingston Facilities Department.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Well,
We'll now move on to the Drew Heritage House. It was from Jones River Landing. They're kind of all the same. Right? All the same kind of stuff, right? So make sure your application clearly articulates how the structure meets the criteria of historic preservation, either Massachusetts registry. If you have a registry number, that's great. If you don't, make sure you get a letter from the town's historical commission that so designates it. Just because it's old doesn't make it historic. Sorry, I'm a historian. I'm a PhD in history. So just because it's old doesn't make it historic. So make sure you have those 2 things. This is a restoration project. So again, it has to adhere to those Department of Interior standards. If you have any questions about those as you look at it, feel free to reach out. Again, having an individual name that's in charge and responsible and demonstrating that they have the qualifications either through formal licensing or informal experience. Making sure that that's clearly articulated on who's going to be responsible for this and being as detailed as possible about exactly what work is going to happen. And how that work is going to go and who is going to be inspecting it along the way, not just for carpentry standards, but for historical preservation standards. And also make sure you articulate that the structure has a public purpose to it. I should have said this before you left, but I highly recommend going to the Community Preservation Coalition website and looking at the technical articles that they provide and specifically looking at the ones under historical preservation. They're all very short. There's just a few pages long, but they're really insightful and making sure that your application is very complete. I think in the past, we've been a little bit lax in this regard, but I would like to start to see our applications coming in a little bit fuller portfolios that really articulate that they're meeting all the standards of the CPC funding. So the big ones are that maintaining the historical consistency, maintaining this public purpose that it serves to build community within Kingston. This is a $20,000 request. This is to paint a wall, right?
It's a little more than that.
Okay.
I mean, I know that the last sentence basically said the painting of the
South
front
side.
face was, but that's the part that needs the most paint.
Okay.
We need to do the window surrounds around the building too. We're doing carpentry first because there's a lot of rot, there's a lot of termite damage. There's a lot of. that
Are you
sort of-
replacing the windows?
No, we're not. replacing.
Those windows aren't historic, are they?
I don't think so. I think they were replaced in the 50s.
There's a whole article about windows.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
It's a whole thing.
We would kind of love to, but we're not there.
It's
Not have the old cooling systems in them, but yeah, they're not.
The windows, off the record, but we're on the record, but like, once a window is designated as historic, it's there. So like,
No, they're not there anymore.
you might want to get rid of the ones you have before those become designated as historic.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Uh,
I mean, if you wanna cover that now. I mean,
I don't think we can.
they're a little drafty, you know,
Yeah.
and we did have to take out, because we did insulate the house.
Yeah.
We had to take out the weights.
Yep.
So they're not there anymore.
You're right.
But we have them if you want them.
Well, take a look at the technical articles on the website and see what they say.
Is there a list of those contractors in this area that might be applicable to us?
There's a list, statewide. It's on the website, the Community Preservation Coalition's website.
I hadn't.
Yeah,
I believe our carpenter will qualify. John was saying he
Yeah.
restores old.
I know, but it'd be nice to know if he's
We
on
need
the
to
list.
find somebody more.
yeah, if he doesn't have a specific license or, formal educational training in it, if you could just give him a write like a bio. And show his experience. And I think it really comes down to the detail to which they describe the actual registration process. So you're not just gonna go to Lowe's and buy some white paint. Like, and so what's the process that you're doing to ensure that you're matching,
We were looking at old photos today, most of them in black and white, obviously. Some from the 70s.
We're actually would like to have a better understanding of what the colors of the house
We will
were
be looking into that.
Yeah.
for the most recent. But I mean, the current paint, well, you'll see it if you ever drive by there.
It's
Desperate, but we don't know if we really wanted that like teal color, you know, the really like color. And
so I would take some time to do the research.
So that's what we'll be doing as you're thinking and processing.
Yeah,
Um,
and write all that up, right? Describe how you did the research, who you reached out to, what type of research you did, what archives you tapped into, what archivist you talked to. You know, we have a great archive here in town.
Oh, well,
Might be able to-
visiting Nick.
Yeah, you know, Nick, okay, great.
oh, yeah.
Nick's great. So like get him involved in it and get him to write something up for it if he's willing. The other issue with this particular application is you're on a line between maintenance and capital improvement. So you need to articulate how this is a capital improvement.
Yeah, this is really long put off work on the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've done a tremendous amount of work on it. I mean, theoretically, you could call rebuilding the chimney maintenance, but
Yeah,
you know, it was restoration.
so
We did that, but we haven't been able to do everything all by ourselves.
yeah, so the good thing about the CPC is it is very locally defined. So it's up to this committee to make a distinction between what's maintenance and what's capital improvement. There's no specific definition or guidelines handed down by the state or by the coalition that said this is what maintenance is. It's up to us to determine. So it's a very grassroots type of funding, very localized type of funding. So we have the flexibility. But that means that it's on you to make that argument in your final presentation, to convince the six of us that this qualifies as capital improvement rather than maintenance. Does that make sense?
So I assume there's an application online that will give us what.
There's a blueprint and there's like an application to it, but you'll have some freedom to write up what you want to write and include appendices.
Book would work for you.
That would work for me. Yeah, I'd be totally fine with that. Trust me, but that's kind of where I'm going with. I like to see things fleshed out a little bit.
We have been learning a lot about the house.
Yeah, So, yeah, I mean, the more you can provide photographs, we can, if the committee's interested, we have the ability and authority to do site visits.
That's fine.
Which
Yeah,
we
that'd
can,
be great.
we can decide if we want to do something like that for some of these to get a better sense. I mean, most of us are around town all the time anyway, so we've seen all these things already, but we can, as a group, go and do site visits. That's perfectly capable of doing that. What else do I have here? That's all I have for this one. Anybody else?
Could you tell me what the deadline is again for the application?
Applications are due December 18th.
18th, okay. Better than the 8th, what I was remembering.
January 8th is when we will review them, so that might be what. And if the committee decides they want to do any site visits, it would probably come in between those two dates.
And this is paper copies or digital copies?
Digital.
It is, I believe, 3 paper and a
Oh.
digital.
3 copies on paper and a digital.
I believe that's what it is. It's in the write-up of the.
Okay, so it's all on the,
Mhm.
thanks so much.
Mhm. So I would agree that this proposal meets the qualifications for CPC fundings and can move forward, but I'll let someone else make the motion. Chairs make motion? I never remember.
You can.
Usually don't.
I usually don't. Okay.
No.
Let somebody else.
I'll just do it.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to advance the project assessment form titled Drew Heritage House Exterior Rehab with Painting as presented.
Second.
Second.
Any
They're
further?
not limiting to the painting of the front part.
Right, so
Be specific in the application.
it's not, it's just that you have a little bit of flexibility.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All right. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
We have 3 proposals coming from the old burying ground. We have a representative,
Is me.
all right.
Where is it?
So, we got a fence repair, we've got headstone repair. And there was another one,
Yeah.
signage, right?
Signage,
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to group them? Do you want to talk?
Well, I was thinking about that they really are all 3,
Well, let me,
they're part of the 2020 master plan for restoration, preservation of the old burial ground. And progress has been being made, over there, doing various elements that are part of that master plan. And these 3, they're here as separate pieces, but they're part of a bigger plan.
okay. So here's a couple issues. First, the signage one
Yes,
does not qualify.
okay,
CPC funding cannot be used to pay for signage, educational information, public awareness campaigns, anything like that, unless it's included in a larger project.
okay.
So when I first read this, I said, nope, right away. But now if you're saying it's part of a larger plan, it might behoove the group to submit everything as one
As one.
application, and they could possibly fold it in. I don't know if I would still vote for it, honestly. I'd be hesitant to do that,
Mhm.
but as of now, as a standalone application, it 100% doesn't qualify.
Okay,
Uh,
so it's possible to submit one application with the 3 elements as part of making progress on
Yes,
completing that master plan.
yes,
And is
Possibly.
this in a way of it needs to be in keeping with various.
it's a gray area
Design things.
because
It has
like,
to present it as a historical place.
keep in mind, CPC funds favor acquisition, preservation, restoration, or rehabilitation.
Yeah.
They have to be significant capital improvements that contribute to the long-term community value
Yes.
of Kingston.
Mhm.
And signage like that is a real gray area.
Yeah.
Standing alone is absolutely out. Even folded into an application is still tentative.
Okay,
And I for one would be hesitant to, but we as CPC could look at, you could ask for, we want $100,000 and we can say yes, yes, no, no, and give you 70,000.
yeah.
Okay, and then you would have to fundraise for other sources to get whatever we decided not to do. But there's other issues though.
Okay,
The fencing is also problematic.
even though that's historic.
That's what you have to clearly articulate.
Okay,
It's not, you have to articulate the fence itself is historic,
Yeah.
not that the fence is surrounding
no,
historic.
it
property.
is
So
historic.
you have to identify, it. Again, it has to be one of those two things. It either has to be on the Massachusetts registry, which I
Okay.
don't think it would be,
I don't know.
the
that
fence
it is.
itself,
Yeah.
not the bearing.
Probably not.
Or you have to get a letter from the town's historical commission and historian and so
Yes.
designate it. And then we, as a committee at that point, could determine whether or not that's sufficient. If it's on the Massachusetts Historical Registry, then it's a yes or no.
Okay,
But if it's sort of a subjective assessment, then we as a committee would say, yes, that qualifies, or no, it doesn't. And again, that letter should articulate pretty specifically how the historian or historical commission has so deemed it.
yeah,
Like, what do they know about the fence?
Mhm.
Like you said, it's 19th century. That's kind of vague. What do we, is it 1802 or is
Yeah.
this 1893? And how do they know that? We know who put it up, when it was put up, why it was put up.
Yeah.
You know, as much historical research you can invest into just finding out that
okay,
when that fence went up and what it has to do with.
okay,
As of now, what I see now, I would say that also does not qualify.
okay.
Because to me, what's provided here isn't sufficient. Now,
Mhm.
I would still vote for the proposal to move forward, to give you the time
Yeah.
to do all of that. But it's not sufficient right now.
Okay,
The, restoration of the stones is perfectly fine. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of the most common uses of CPC funds is
Mhm.
gravestone restoration. The only thing there, much like the other historical properties, you have to identify a single person that's responsible for it and so prove to us that that person has the qualification. Can't just be Mason.
Yeah.
It has to be someone who's qualified in some way through formal or formal training or informal experience, that they have the skill sets necessary to do the work.
okay,
With headstones, there are really specific licensing and
Yeah.
training programs out there that are fairly straightforward. And so if you have someone that's been doing this and they're not so formally trained, I'd recommend they just go ahead and do it. Like they're pretty easy. There's like a weekend training program
Yeah.
that they do.
Yeah.
And to just get that and then you're all set.
okay,
And again, you have until December 18th to figure all that out.
okay,
So this is a little bit more tricky. I'm inclined to allow it to move forward sort of conditionally,
Mhm.
that the final application meets these requirements. Right now, it's only tentatively meets the requirement.
2 out of 3.
2 out of the 3, but I think if
Okay.
you loop them,
Yeah.
wrap them into one package, you'll have a better chance.
Yeah, I think that's what is the plan.
And then you can, in your full application, it would be nice to see, like, this is you talked about a big capital
Yeah.
plan. This is our 10-year plan.
Yeah.
Indicate how this
Here
fits
we are.
into that. You know,
Yeah.
this is what we did last year and the year before, and this is what we want to do going forward.
Yeah.
So we can see that, okay, this is part of a really big project.
Okay,
The other issue, I just remembered is also that, public purpose
Yeah.
element of it, like, I'm a historian, obviously, so I get it, but like, you have to demonstrate that these burying grounds serve a public purpose in some
Yes.
way, whether
Yeah.
it's visitations or events or what it might be. It's got to have a public purpose to it.
lots of them, yeah.
This can't just be a cemetery off in the
No,
corner someplace.
there are a lot of, yeah,
So in your application, I would really, you might even have a subheading that says public purpose.
Yeah.
And then describe how it meets those public purposes.
right.
So I would, does anyone else have any?
Now, are we voting on these three separately, or are we voting them as one? Like, do we deny two and approve one to move forward? That could be amended as part of a larger plan during the application.
I like that idea. But I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Um,
As long as the applicant has the freedom to update this as part of the larger
Oh, yeah.
plan, potentially by adding other factors into it.
yeah, nothing's written in
So
stone.
do it as one
So
package.
you said deny two of them and approve
Are you
one?
gonna deny two of them?
I would deny the sign and the
And the
fencing
fence.
and approve, the headstone under conditions. And you can roll the other
Yeah.
ones
The other
into it,
two
Yep.
Into,
right?
The overall.
are you sure that that would?
These are
I know this
just
is the company that's
proposals,
gonna
yeah,
work anyway, but-
these are just project assessment.
Right.
And so there's a lot of room between now and the final
Yeah.
application to amend it.
Okay.
And I think this is one that would be valuable for a site visit.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
So when you say amend it, amend
Your application.
I would,
the full application,
Yeah.
and we have to state we're amending the
so
application.
what I would say is I make a motion to approve the headstone one under conditions.
Okay,
And the conditions would be all the stuff. So I listed,
Okay.
so, make sure it's part of a larger capital planning. Demonstrate that it has a public purpose. Assure that everything that you're going to touch is so designated as a historical artifact.
yep,
And that would allow you to roll the fence into it.
yep,
I feel like I'm missing something, but. And the individual doing the work
The work,
is
yeah.
so identified as an expert in the work. And then roll everything into a larger plan.
okay,
So as a motion to approve, a motion to advance. The headstone proposal under conditions.
okay.
I'll just make the
So
motion.
it sounds like somebody else.
Want to make a motion, man, make the motion.
Voting or no?
I don't know,
Recuse
no, I
yourself
don't
or
think,
No, because
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think so. She's
Yeah.
operating as a member, because she represents
historical.
historic.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I think she has to. She don't have to recuse herself if she was sort of a private entity.
Yeah,
I think,
okay.
But,
But the person doing the work itself.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I make that motion.
I second your motion.
All those in favor?
I,
I'll make a motion to reject the advancement of Old Burying Grounds cast iron fence renovations.
and, fine.
We'll do them separately.
Okay,
The one for the fence. I'll make the motion if I can get a second.
second.
Any discussion on that? Just to be clear, the committee's open to hearing you roll that into
Yes.
another,
Oh,
a
yeah,
larger
definitely.
project.
Not denying the aspect that it could be included in a larger project.
Right.
So, okay. I'm thinking
I can help you with
about here.
this
I think
later.
I'm probably gonna abstain on these two, though.
Or you can vote against it if you want.
Yeah, okay.
If you vote against the motion, you'll lose, but you can vote.
In my mind, I've been thinking of it as one, so,
Yeah, I think it would have been better just to make it as one.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so the motion is to deny the advancement of Old Burying Grounds fence renovation under the condition that we accept rolling that proposal into a fuller project that will be moved forward.
Second.
Did you get all that?
I did,
Okay.
what is your vote though?
We haven't gotten there yet.
yeah.
Got a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
I,
All those opposed?
No, yes, no.
Okay. And I'll make a motion to deny advancing the Old Burying Ground proposal for signage.
Second.
Any further discussion? And if you decide to move this forward and include it in the other one, you can feel free to, but
At what,
not inclined to do
at
so.
what point would signage in a project like this be acceptable for CPC funding?
The language states only if it's part of a larger capital project.
Okay.
So. I mean, it's almost would be better if you did your whole capital project in one, but we don't have the funds to do that and we
Yeah.
don't have, or if this came towards the end of that. So if you can sort of plan out your 5-year plan and then like, okay,
Right,
honestly though, I think something that should really come from other sources of funding.
that's fine.
The design.
Yeah.
One of the articles suggests finding a sponsor,
Yeah,
like a corporation or business that wants to put their name underneath it. You know, it's a good way to do it, but. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, you're voting to deny. Moving forward, all those in favor of the motion? All right, aye. Against? 3-1.
there is a big section on, in that website on old burying ground, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
It's a very popular use of CPC funding. Okay, recreation. This is the Grays Beach basketball and tennis courts. It's similar to what we were talking about before. There are certain rules that we have to make sure. I already know the answers to this, but I want to just make sure I hear the answers. That the property is under control of the board or park commission or town entity in some way. Okay, so it's not like a private park.
Right.
Okay. That it has permanent protection status.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to see that in the application, permanent protection status under Article 97, basically, you know, a deed or something that shows that it can't be undone through legislative action. So the town cannot, we have to be shown that the town could not potentially sell this property and turn it into a condominium resort. It has to be permanently protected. Now, it's Grays Beach, so I think by state law, it can't.
Correct.
Because it's within the title protective of the ocean, the water frontage, so you could probably just include conservation language that indicates that. And then this is another one where it's like, is this regular maintenance or is this capital improvement? It seems to me it's capital improvement, but I would like to see something in the application that articulates that this is. So like, if you're just patching a few cracks, that would probably be regular maintenance. If you're talking about ripping up the court and completely resurfacing it, that's a capital improvement. So I'm not entirely sure which of those two it is.
It would be the latter, it's
Right.
ripping it up.
There was some other language in there that gave me pause when I was reading some of the technical. Can you tell me, you might not know this now, and that's totally fine, but can you tell me that on the same legal plot, are there any buildings? I don't remember Grays Beach. I don't think there is, but there's like a concession stand.
Bathroom there.
Yeah, I don't think that would count. We'll look a little bit more into that, but it's one of the rules that there can't be a structure on the same legal piece of property.
So it's just a restaurant. though.
Yeah. I think it's okay, but I'll have to look
Because
at.
we've used CBC funds for
Yeah.
that property before.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It's just, I feel like this town's committees use CPC funds for a lot of stuff that it wasn't supposed to. Oh,
It was more.
we bought signs.
recent project.
So I'm trying to just tighten up
Sure.
how we use things because it is a liability issue.
Right,
And other towns have been sued by their citizens for the misappropriation of CPC funds. For example, on a thing like, since we're talking about recreation, the town was not that long ago was sued because they used CPC funds to put down artificial turf, which is specifically prohibited. We can't use CPC funds to put down artificial, we put down grass, like you want to do a baseball field, put regular grass on, you can, but you can't use it for artificial turf. So there's been a lot going on with CPC funds in the court over the last couple of years, and I just want to try to do my best for the town to make sure that we don't. So we want to, you could go to I'm sure there's an office someplace that can tell you exactly what the legal plot line, and then you can get someone to define that bathroom isn't a structure, and then as long as you have something in the application to show that CPC did its due diligence to ensure that it met qualifications.
just on that part about the structure, is there something on the CPC website that will indicate that, like who's gonna determine that that's not a structure?
We would,
So,
right? So that goes back to the same argument. So the most the CPC website says is that there can be no building on the same quote legal plot of land.
Building or structure.
Building,
Okay,
it says building.
yeah,
So then we would, again, what's the beauty of the CPA is that it delegated a tremendous amount of interpretive power to the CPC. The Community Preservation Act delegated tremendous interpretive power to the Community Preservation Committee, which is us.
so how would I clarify that for you in the application? How do I indicate that it's, you're the one who's determining it? Because, for example, we use funds for
I guess that would
athletic
look,
complex that has a restaurant concession building, so what's
that
considered
would
a
not
structure?
qualify, I think. But in this one, like, is it heated?
No,
So this means that it's not, it's a little bit less of a building then, right? You know, I don't know, it has electric power to it,
Mhm,
yeah, has, obviously has plumbing to it.
mhm.
Um,
I've never heard this terminology about the structure before, because
Yeah.
property for community preservation and recreation fall under
Under
our space that has
Buildings.
buildings.
yeah, I know,
yeah, but nobody occupies that structure.
so that could be an occupied.
No,
Yeah, and I also feel like if, you
We
know,
can look into it more and you can look into it more too.
the strictest definite, if we're being as conservative with the definition as possible, that would eliminate the ability to use CPC funding on quite a bit of parks
Yeah,
that have bathrooms in them. Because
Yeah.
if, you know, if you're looking at a structure, even if it's just like an outhouse type thing, which, you know, obviously I've been there before, I go there with my son all the time.
yeah,
I feel like that would limit the opportunity to do any real work at parks across
Yeah.
the state of Massachusetts.
I like the sense of like occupied
Yeah,
building,
nobody could live in there as a main residence or
Yeah.
anything like that.
nor could it be zoned for, so here's another way to look at it. Could this building be zoned for commercial use or residential use? If you can say no to both of those, then I'm okay with it.
so somebody running the concession stand would be considered commercial use. If it's-
I would talk to building and ask them about zoning permits. Would this building pass any zoning application for it to be used as commercial or residential purposes?
Would that be zoning board though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you ask someone and
Well, I think it might be the zoning enforcement officer, which the town does.
in this case, though, in case of the bathrooms, it seems like it's a weekend. I mean, obviously, no,
Right,
it couldn't be a zone for it. The concession stand situation might be a little bit, but this raised piece of.
this isn't for, no,
Right.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I think that might be a mountain we'll have to climb at
Yeah.
some point, but for this particular application,
It's-
I think it's okay.
Okay.
Um.
Great.
Where am I things here? The building, same legal properties, yeah, so, make sure it's permanently protected. Make sure you articulate how it's a capital improvement and not regular maintenance. And then indicate that the structure there wouldn't qualify for any zoning permit purposes. And the same with the other, historic ones is that public purpose. The site has to demonstrate public purpose, which is pretty clear here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using,
Basketball, tennis, it's a public purpose, but just include assignments.
Okay.
yeah,
I just want to be able to see in your application, the words capital improvement, permanently protected, and public purpose in there. So we're like, yep. And then the board and the town is protected.
for the capital improvement piece, if you could, you know, explain how the material that you're gonna be using to improve this is better than what was there before. For example, different kind of asphalt, stronger type of asphalt, that will get more longevity out of the
How
sites.
long did you get with the course? How old are these?
They've been, this is my 27th year and we've never done them, so
Yeah.
at least that long.
I think anything more than 20 years is a capital.
I agree.
Remember 20 years sounds like good capital.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
point.
I'm sorry, you said capital improvement, public purpose, and what was the?
Permanently
protection?
protected.
Okay, thank you.
And that you can use a number, it's so close to the waterfront, you can pull its deed, it probably has permanent protection status in its deed. I don't know how old Grays Beach Park is, but it could be a fun historical project.
It's older.
go to your, town record to be able to pull the deed.
I have.
Okay, any other? Entertain a motion to either move it forward or whatever.
I'll make a motion to advance the project assessment form entitled Grays Beach Park Tennis and Basketball Court Rehabilitation as presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I
Opposed?
Hi, Sheila's here.
roll call.
Oh.
Well, now we gotta do roll call.
Ready, roll call.
Sorry,
All right.
guys. I came
Get us
late.
started- Get us started then, Sheila. Did you here for the discussion on?
Yes, I was
Okay,
here.
so we have a motion to approve. Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Say your name and I.
Sheila Vaughn, aye. Sorry about that.
Yep.
Suzanne Haggerty, aye.
Brian Payne, aye.
Alexander Graham, aye.
Linda Ragazza, aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we will go to our final item two, presented from conservation. And we will not hold Matt liable to his horrible handwriting. And you can let him know I said that. But he was kind enough to send us an email that flashes this out a little bit. I don't have much to say here. It in my mind, it clearly qualifies. It meets all the categories of open space. Matt already knows all of this, but just to put it on record, in the final application, the applicant conservation would have to articulate how the property would be permanently protected. Again, we need that word permanently protected in there. He knows how to do that. How it contributes to the public purpose. In this case of open space, it could all, instead of public purpose, they could also lean into the environmental ecological values of the property, which he hints at in the application, mitigating climate change, all that kind of stuff, protecting existing resources, things like that.
I have a question. Are
Yep.
we talking about Maple Street or?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was talking about them both, but
Okay.
we'll do them one at a time. Maple Street will be first. Everything I just said also applies to Wapping Road though.
Question about Wapping.
Okay, so we'll start with Maple Street. Any questions about Maple Street? So it's a big ticket item, $1 to $2 million. The one thing that CPC I would like to see is efforts at shared cost. Whether Matt's applying for, I know he applies to a lot of grants for acquisition of land, or other sources of revenue would be good to see an application that's so big. The question?
Yeah, so, so he's talking about developing a certain portion of this. So wouldn't that development be a separate application? Because if it falls under affordable housing, why is all
So,
under
yep.
open space and acquisition?
yeah, so there's specific legislation that allows CPCs to purchase property that have shared use specifically between open space and affordable housing.
Mhm.
So this is unlike what we're just talking about, structure and all that. This is the one exception to that rule, that you're allowed to use money that combines open space and affordable housing together.
Right. So I had a question. So why wouldn't the Affordable Housing Trust be a portion of this and some of their funds on a portion of this? Because it does seem like it qualifies under their guidelines.
I agree. It would be nice to see an application co-submitted by affordable housing and conservation on this piece.
Great to know. I'll bring it to my crew.
And then for Wapping, I guess I had a question about the rental of the property to a specific farmer or other entity. If they're renting that does it qualify under CPC because there is some sort of financial gain?
So what this would do, what Matt would have to do is he'd have to go into the Community Preservation Coalition website again, go to the technical reports and pull the language specifically on the restoration of farmland, which is a category under the CPA for open space. But it's a specific agricultural conservation element. So he'd have to articulate how this property is doing both. It's under the technical reports. I can give you the specifics of it.
So there wouldn't be a financial gain because they're a nonprofit?
Yeah, it's a nonprofit, so that's not.
Yeah.
I can't find it, but under open space, there's an article called Protecting Farmland with Community Preservation Act. There is another state program that provides financial support for the preservation of agricultural land via the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture. And if Matt sees any value, he might want to try to include resources there too. So it's a way to share expenses. It's the Agricultural Preservation Restriction Program. I don't know if it applies, but Matt could take a look at it.
And I think as a nonprofit, do they have actual, funds that they've raised that could be used to
To help the cost.
to take part, to handle the part of what the small 1 acre property?
This is for Wapping Road, right?
Yeah, for Walking Road, yeah,
At Fox Rock Farm.
yeah. Or, some sort of grant that they might have.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Any other observations on either Maple Street or Wapping Road?
So, yeah, I just, real quick, that it's under develop, like, there is a developer on that. I think we're trying to see if something falls through too. So just, it could fall through, but we would love to have the extravaganza. But, again, it's all based on certain things falling apart too. So we'll see. But I just wanted to make sure that, Matt did write up in the email better than on his writing. I really liked the email.
Yeah.
So I think he did a good job on the email.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the project just from my time on the Conservation Commission, so
This has been a while, yeah.
it's been a while, yeah, and there's been a couple efforts to purchase it, and I don't know if Georgina, is it? I'm sorry, I haven't met you yet.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you, Georgiana.
Georgiana, thank you. Is this the same, you might not know this, but is this the same property that Matt had the grant for? And then the property owner decided to sell it for development, and then we had to return the grant, or is this a different piece of property? I don't know.
I believe this is a different piece, and he specified those things because of that. Like that's why he specified all the details with the person following through, et cetera, in this application. I think this is different.
You think so too?
Well, because I do remember approving the appraisal money for this, right?
That was for the other property, I think,
Okay. All right.
that we lost.
That's
So
what I do for you.
we lost, yeah,
okay.
because Roger, the property owner, initially agreed to the sale to the town.
Okay,
And they had it all written up, and they ended up selling it to, I think, a solar panel
Okay.
developer, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
It
I
was a
do.
solar panel.
Okay,
So
so
this is pretty, I think it's a pretty tentative.
okay,
We don't know if we'll be able to get it or not, but
okay.
he's looking at earmarks.
Yeah, I think it's 20, and then we're looking at 8, but 10 is the fire station. So I know a lot of it's not a whole area there. So
Okay.
I know,
Yeah.
and we've
Well,
talked
we
a little bit at affordable housing. So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think there's a lot will happen to this before December 18th.
okay.
And we have not heard from our auditor treasurer who does our fund budget. We have not heard from them about what our budget is.
Okay.
But I'm gonna guess it's not gonna be enough to cover a $2 million purchase. So unless we can see some pretty significant shared expenses, either through affordable housing, through the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture, through this nonprofit, through federal grants, which no one's getting right now. I don't see it that we'll be able to fund this, but it does qualify. So at this stage, I'm prepared to allow it to move forward, but.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean when we're reviewing the application that we can't approve the use of some funds, if not,
Right.
not the entire project for it.
Right, and we can always roll funds over too, if we wanted to, which is another thing I'm interested in doing.
So potentially one day we could do a
Right.
project of that value.
Like, that's what a lot of towns do. They build up their CPC bank account and then invest it in multi-million-dollar projects.
Which is exactly what you were saying in your board packet when you had your minutes, which was we would like to see us not spend it on such littler things that maybe could be part of the department's budget, so we can actually do some of these bigger projects.
Right. That's just my opinion, but it doesn't.
Well, I agree with you.
Yeah. All right, any other questions or comments about Maple Street or Wapping Road purchase? We will have to vote on them separate, so we'll take a motion from whomever, whichever, for whatever.
I'll make a motion to advance the project assessment form entitled Wapping Road, oh, maybe I should be the email. Wapping Road purchase for Hathaway Preserve.
Have a second?
Second.
We'll do a roll vote. We'll start with
Bill Vaughn, yes.
Suzanne Haggerty, yes.
Brian Payne, yes.
Alexander Graham, yes.
Linda Regasta, yes.
Motion passes. And now, does anyone want to make a motion one way or the other for Maple Street acquisition?
I'll make a motion to advance the project assessment of the Maple Street extravaganza. The next step.
Second. Really does.
Roll call vote.
All right, Sheila Vaughn, yes.
Suzanne Haggerty, yes.
Brian Payne, yes.
Alexander Graham, yes.
Linda Regasta, yes.
Motion passes. And that is it for the proposals. Thank you.
And we'll have a December meeting in affordable housing. I think we were waiting to hear today on this, so we'll go back in my committee and I'll discuss with them. So thank you all.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is to review the upcoming meetings and deadlines. They look good to me. Applications due December 18th. Application will be reviewed January 8th of 2026. Applications will be voted on by February 5th of 2026. The only thing is, do we want them, anybody's gonna want site visit?
Well, I mean, if the bigger projects go through, I would definitely want to say
So
yes
if-
to the bigger projects.
I have a question about rules. Could I, as chair, organize such a visit via email if I just emailed everybody and said,
I think you might have to post it. So you asked everybody and said, hey, do you want to go out on Saturday at noon? Just let me know and I can post it.
okay, do you know if a conservation posts their site visits?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know we do site visits all the time, but that's for like, but it's different because we're not spending public funds.
Yeah.
We're approving,
I mean, it can't hurt. If
Yeah.
You have it, I guess I don't know.
I like the idea that it can't hurt. So, what we should do then is we'll see, the application due by December 18th, when will we see them?
December 18th.
So,
If they send them to me electronically, it'll take 2 seconds.
okay, so let me pull up my calendar here and we can assign, like maybe it was 2 weeks after December 18th. The 30th? You doing my math right? No, that's not at all right.
It's the first. It's
It's the
January
first.
1st.
So,
Happy New Year.
yeah, let's say, oh, that's not. Do you all think you could give the applications a quick review by the 22nd even and determine whether or not you want a site visit?
Of December, you mean?
Of December, yeah. It's a very quick turnaround, but you don't have to read the whole thing. Just say, hey, I really want a site visit.
Mhm.
And then I can start working on planning them.
Before,
Mhm.
before January 8th.
We don't, actually, I'm looking at this, we need to do that before February 5th.
Yeah, I would say,
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking we had to do it before January 8th, but no, I'm gonna take all that back then. Applications will be reviewed. Does that just mean reviewed by us or?
That's just you saying, okay, we told you to give us, public purpose, this, that, the other thing. At this meeting, did you do everything you're supposed to?
Is that like a meeting we have to have, or it's just, so we're having a meeting on the January 8th?
That is to just make sure that everybody's applications is complete.
Do we meet for that physically? Okay, so at that meeting, come prepared whether or not you want a site visit.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can determine, we'll schedule site visit before the 8th, between the 8th and the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
So the
that sounds
date-
perfect.
December 18th is the date to, what day we talk?
December 18th is when they submit it.
Right.
We're gonna meet as a committee,
Okay, that.
not,
all right.
it's not a public meeting.
Right, yep.
I mean,
Technically it is?
it's always a public meeting,
Okay.
but the public hearing, which
Okay.
you will ask for comment, will be the February 5th.
Okay, so we will meet as a committee on January 8th,
Okay,
and during that meeting, we will decide whether we want to do site visits.
Yeah,
okay.
and then you could probably ask the individuals
Yeah.
here when.
Yeah. Right, great. So,
One question about that. After applications are reviewed, applicants are not allowed to amend anything from January 8th to February 5th, right? Like they can't make changes to their application?
At that point where you would say like. No, technically no.
I think they can't alter after the
I think it's
18th,
allowed.
are they? Can they?
I don't think we've allowed them to alter them.
Yeah.
Not so much alter them, just more you're missing this, or we want to see this type. of
Yeah.
thing.
Not decided in December, typically, right?
No,
No.
It'll be January.
Okay.
so January 8th, we can they can make minor revisions between January 8th and February 5th
Your like direction,
at our
Yeah.
direction.
yeah.
But
We can say, no, this is so far off, you're done.
Yeah,
Um,
and we won't accept any new applications after December 18th.
That would be my rule, and we made a rule, we voted on a
Mhm.
policy last time, so. I don't know, I'll see what we. What do we?
For-
I.
After reviewing all the applicants,
Oh, right.
and if there's sufficient funding available, we reserve the right to review it.
Yeah, but they have to have it they have to submit it a week in
Mhm.
advance of the February 5th one. I think we said, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we made it very difficult. All right. We have meeting minutes? We don't have any meeting minutes, all right. Any other business? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second,
Roll vote,
Sheila Vaughn, yes.
Suzanne Haggerty, yes?
Brian Payne, yes.
Alexander Graham, yes?
Linda Augusta, yes.
Thank you, everyone.